Greetings, my beautiful lovelies. It's Emmy. How are you? It's great to see you and welcome back. Today we are going to be making a homemade version of the dot cake. The dot cake is essentially a flattened cupcake with a layer of frosting and a beautiful even coating of Nonpareils rainbow sprinkles. So they originate from the Dotcakes bakery located in Roslyn, New York. They are totally sold out. There are videos of lines going out the door. You can also find them at Butterfield Market. I don't live near New York, so I cannot get them. So I'm going to be attempting to make a homemade version. I've seen lots of homemade versions and it looks very, very accessible. I am not sure what the exact hype is about. I suspect it has to do with the perfect, lovely aesthetic look of the Nonpareils sprinkles on top and the kind of like tappa 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 ASMR action that happens before you take a scoop of this cake. I don't imagine the flavor of this combination to be unlike something that I've had before, but we won't know till we actually make it. They come in a few different flavors: vanilla, vanilla chip, chocolate, and red velvet. I believe the frosting is the same. It's a white vanilla buttercream, and then you can get different kinds of sprinkles. I think the most popular one is just the rainbow Nonpareils sprinkles, but you can get custom cakes as well with messages on top. But all of them have a layer, a very neat and tidy layer of the tiny Nonpareils sprinkles. So these are classic sprinkles that you find on sugar cookies, Italian bakery style cookies, on top of sundaes, on top of cupcakes. Classic. Nonpareil means unparalleled in French. And in my opinion, I don't love their texture. They're very, very hard and crunchy, and to me, hard on your teeth. But maybe it'll be different in this situation. Oh, am I spilling sprinkles? Where are they coming out of? Oh, the lid was not seated. Oh my gosh. Now I have sprinkles everywhere. Okay, I think that's another thing that's going to be a bit of a casualty of this experiment. We're going to have little spheres of sugar everywhere. And apparently in Mexican bakeries, you can find something called a cortadillo, which is a yellow cake with a pink frosting and Nonpareils sprinkles on top. Not such a thick coating as what Dotcakes presents, but kind of a similar idea. It sounds terrific, right? Cake, frosting, sprinkles. But let's go ahead and make our version and see what it's like. So to keep things simple and accessible, I'm going to go with a cake box mix for my base, and I am choosing chocolate because I love chocolate cake. But by all means, use any cake that you like. So I'm going with Duncan Hines Devil Foods. But I'm going to take the extra effort to make a homemade buttercream because I really dislike store-bought frosting icing mixes. I find them so sweet and really tasteless, so I am going to do that. I think that makes all the difference when it comes to a tasty cake. 1 bag of mix, 1 cup of water, half a cup of oil, but oil is important for the cake to be moist. 3 eggs. Oh, not the shell, just the egg. I'm going to use a... Jeez, what is going on? Okay, turn the... Oh my God. So have your mixer turned off before you plug it in and turn on your power strip. Once it's plugged in, you can turn it on. Now we're gonna mix this for 2 minutes. Got a 9 by 13 pan and I'm going to liberally spray it. When it comes to baking, I like the baking spray that has a little bit of flour in it. Releases nicely. Now into our pan and spread it out. And we're going to bake this according to package directions, and I believe mine says 20 to 25 minutes. Or until a toothpick comes out clean. And then we're going to let the cake completely cool before we frost it. If we put the frosting on while the cake is hot, everything's going to melt. I will come back and we will make our frosting and assemble our dot cakes. Alrighty lovelies, my cake has been baked and it is now ready to be iced. So let's go ahead and make our frosting. We've got butter, 1/2 cup, 1 stick. And this is at room temperature. And that means it is very, very soft, but not melted. But first, let's give it a preliminary beating. Yeah, okay. So my favorite all-time frosting is called an ermine frosting, and it is great because it's not overly sweet. It's thickened with a paste of flour and milk and uses regular sugar instead of powdered sugar. And I love it because you get the texture of buttercream and the flavor because there's butter in it, but it's not as sweet. But I'm not opting for that today because I'm trying to make it like the Dotcake cakes. So now we're adding some powdered sugar, and we're gonna add a total of 2 cups. And I'm adding mine a half a cup at a time. My vanilla at this point, about a teaspoon and a little more. To make this a little more spreadable, I'm going to add a tablespoon of heavy cream. So I think an electric beater does a really good job of whipping up the frosting. If you don't have one, you could use a whisk, but it will take a lot of energy. The electric mixer also does a good job of working out any lumps. Here is my baked and cooled cake. It puffed up beautifully. That was way louder than I wanted it to be. And the cake came out. Dotcakes sells their ASAP cakes in little cardboard cups, about this size, and they sell them 4 for $32 or $8 a piece. I think if you buy them individually, they're 11. So you get a little bit off if you buy 4 at one time. So I thought I'd make some in a cup, and then I've got some other containers, non-disposable, to try as well. So what I've seen some creators do is they take the dish that you're going to serve it in and just use it as a stamp and cut the cake out. So let's try that. And then you flip. Wow, look at that. That worked pretty nicely. We're gonna have to push it a little bit so we have room for our frosting and our sprinkles. But yeah, push it down a little bit. That worked very nicely. Let's try it with a paper cup. Look at that. I'm gonna have to press a little bit. Yo, that worked really nicely. Let's use my favorite container. Doink. Okay, with the scraps, I'm going to tuck it in to a ramekin like this. Don't let it go to waste. Next, we're gonna do the fun part of the frosting and the dipping of the cakes into the sprinkles. I really think this is what is making this recipe seem so appealing, is that actual dipping and then the satisfaction of just having a beautiful coating of these sprinkles. I bought a second bottle of sprinkles because I didn't know if I would have enough, and I like these ones better because the little bits are a little bit larger. I don't know if it shows up on camera, but see how these ones, these are made by Wilton. A little bit larger than these ones. A dollop of our frosting, and we're gonna make this nice and smooth. Just scrape it off smooth so it's just a nice little even layer. We're gonna take our sprinkles. Oh my gosh. Did you hear that? What a disaster. They're like little tiny BBs that just like ricocheted all over onto the floor. Okay, maybe we pour it into a bowl first. Oh my gosh. That doesn't work either. Okay, I'm just gonna pour it. Okay. The ones that are on the plate are gonna cushion the fall of the others. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Those are beautiful. Look at those. Take our smooth cake and do this. Ooh, look at that. Picture perfect. Look at that. Every little part of that is covered. Here we go. Ooh, look at that. stunning. That looks so good. There's just something that's so perfect about each little round rainbow sphere. The color combination, so stinking cheery. And then just something about this encrusted surface with these perfect spheres of rainbow happiness is just so pleasing. I understand why you would want to use the white buttercream, because if there's any little gaps, you've got this white background. If you were to use a colorful frosting or a chocolate frosting, I think it would take away from the bright colors that are the sprinkles. I think the other appeal of this is the ASMR tappa 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 crack, and I think refrigerating is going to help get us a nice solid tap, because it'll solidify the buttercream on top a bit so that we'll have a nice like solid foundation. Alrighty, my lovelies, finally it is time to taste my homemade dot cake. Now I had enough frosting to do 7 of these, and in terms of sprinkles I used about 1/3 of the container. So I would imagine if I do the last 3 cakes, it would be half or 2/3 of this container. I just took this one out of the refrigerator, and look at that. It's just so cheery and stunning. Absolutely gorgeous. Sounds crunchy and bouncy. Alrighty. Pretty stinking cute. Look at that. Itadakimasu. It's fun. Lots of crunch going on, but it's actually surprisingly balanced for me. I thought there would be too many crunchy balls to cake ratio, but it actually works out just fine. And the amount of frosting, there's just really a skim coat on this. A lot of it is cake. The majority is cake. So compared to a cupcake, I much prefer this. I'm not a fan of the huge swirl of frosting on top of cupcakes. I love the look of them, so I like them in theory, but I am one of those people that scoops most of that off just so I can have some with the cake. And this works. This amount of frosting to cake ratio works beautifully for me. And then you've got that delightful crunch on top. And so it's really playful. It reminds me of a sundae because you've got all those rainbow sprinkles on top, and it's really mostly about the cake. Buttercream frosting is essential. Not only does it stick all of the sprinkles on top, but it adds tremendous amount of flavor. So I would highly recommend making your own buttercream because it tastes lovely. You've got that pure vanilla extract, which has a really great intense vanilla flavor, along with butter. The richness of butter along with cream and a lot of sugar. What's not to love? And the Nonpareils sprinkles work really well here because there's lots of cake relative to the number of sprinkles. So you get really fluffy, airy, sweet chocolate cake along with those little crunchy bits on top. I think this might be the best application of this type of sprinkle I've had. Is it earth-shattering? Is it a reinvention on something? Not really. It's pretty much what you would imagine with smaller ratios of frosting, which I like. I'm totally on board. Smaller ratios of frosting, higher ratio of sprinkles, and good cake. I think in this case, box cake mix works great. Save some time by using a cake mix, but then invest that time in whipping up a buttercream frosting. I think it's totally worth it. I think these would be a huge hit at a birthday party. Just have the cakes pre-made in the cups, even pre-frosted, or you could frost it with the kids and let the kids dip them into the frosting. I think they would have a ton of fun, or the adults, whomever. It's a lot of fun dipping the cakes into the sprinkles and then looking at your beautiful encrusted result. Homemade dot cakes, lots of fun, super easy. but probably what you expect. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that one. I hope you learned something. Please share this video with your friends, follow me on social media, like this video, subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one. Toodaloo, take care, bye! It's a little rough on your teeth, in my opinion.